You may take for granted the value of having a working gas gauge in your vehicle. It tells you how much fuel is left in the tank and alerts you when it's time for a fill-up. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Trinix AutoFix. Today on Trinix AutoFix, the fuel gauge sender relays this information, but it's not immune to malfunctions. When your car has a bad fuel gauge sender, the data might not be transmitted correctly. The top symptoms of a bad fuel gauge include erratic behavior, as well as reading empty or too full. Any time that the fuel gauge is acting up, it could be caused by a failing sending unit. We look at each of these symptoms of a bad fuel sending unit. Our article also covers the fuel gauge sender replacement cost while looking at the location and function of this valuable component. Contents show bad fuel gauge sending unit symptoms. 1. Erratic gauge behavior. Fuel gauge. The fuel gauge should never make quick changes or operate erratically. When it's operating correctly, the fuel gauge is going to consistently move toward empty until you refill the tank. However, when the fuel gauge sender starts to fail, you might notice different behavior. The gauge could suddenly alter its position or supply you with an inaccurate reading. 1 minute you might notice the tank is 3/4 of the way full, and the next, it is reading empty. While there could be an electrical problem with the instrument cluster, a bad fuel gauge sender is most often to blame. Related, fuel gauge not working or is inaccurate. 2. Gauge stuck on empty. It's also possible for the fuel tank to read empty even when it's not. If you've put fuel into the tank, but the gauge doesn't move, this is a clear sign that the sending unit has failed. When the float breaks or gets separated from the arm, the gauge malfunctions. With nothing to read, it shows an empty tank. Additionally, a faulty resistor in the system can also cause this malfunction. 3. Gauge stuck on full. While it is less common, the gauge can also show full when the sender is bad. Having a fuel gauge stuck at full is often a sign of a bad resistor instead. The resistor sends the wrong signal to the instrument panel, giving you the full tank indication. However, if the resistor isn't to blame, it's possible that the sender is the culprit instead. Thank you guys for watching. It's Trinix AutoFix. Bye for now.